Right now, though, we want to round up one of our big topics of the week. A Texas judge is allowing state prison officials to keep the identity of its execution drug supplier secret. This comes after attorneys for death row inmates filed lawsuits demanding the new supplier's name be revealed. They argue it's needed to verify the drug's quality and spare their clients from unconstitutional pain and suffering. But the state says revealing the company's identity could put it at risk to threats of violence. Attorneys are questioning that argument, and the Texas Department of Criminal Justice has offered no new evidence of possible threats. So far, at least 2 prison inmates have been executed with this drug. So should the state reveal the identity of the supplier? And could that supplier really be in danger? So that's our topic this hour. We want to hear from you. We post all of the topics we're going to be talking about on our Facebook page, and you can also send me a tweet at Sally Mack, Fox 26. Joining us in our newsroom this morning, we have our legal analyst, Chris Tritico. We have former Democratic Party Chair and Attorney Jerry Bernberg, and our Republican and public policy analyst, Jackie Valley. Good morning, guys. What do you think? Does the release of the information pose a danger?
Well, this is one of those great constitutional law questions that always excites constitutional scholars like Jerry Bernberg. And I studied constitutional law, but I don't understand it nearly as good as somebody like Jerry. The issues are great. You know, are these companies facing problems? Yes, but not because of violence, but because of their bank books, and that's what they're concerned about. The companies that quit selling drugs to Texas and to any state in the country is because they were seeing problems with anti-death penalty people picketing and causing problems to their bank accounts. That's the only problem they're concerned about. But this sets up, Jerry Bernberg, a problem with the court saying you can keep this secret with the Texas Open Records Act.
Oh, geez, I haven't even looked at it in that regard, because you're right. I'm looking at it from the constitutional perspective. But I do note the irony that we don't allow manufacturers of, for example, abortion-producing drugs to maintain secrecy, not to inspect whether the quality is there for what they're doing. And with regard to these fears, somehow or another we're endangering the people who are engaged. In the death penalty, we don't keep the names of death penalty jurors secret. Death penalty judges who pronounce death penalties, they don't get secrecy. Prosecutors who prosecute death penalty cases, they don't get anonymity, and none of them have been threatened.
And from an Eighth Amendment standpoint, you know, the Eighth Amendment, of course, bars cruel and unusual punishment. If the drug they're using is not effective and causes pain, that would be a problem for the Eighth Amendment. That's what the lawyers are saying we want to look into. Is there anything wrong with that?
I think the lawyers are just trying to come up with another way to delay executions. That's what they're there to do. They're protecting their clients. But what about the people that they killed? They're on death row for a reason, and they didn't think about the constitutional rights of the victims. So now we're supposed to think about the constitutional rights of the people who have committed a lot of crimes. The one gentleman in Texas in particular, he admitted to killing at least, or he's tied to at least 70 different people. He stabbed a 13-year-old 16 times. He didn't think about the constitutional rights of that person that he stabbed, that teenager. So now we're supposed to give him some leniency. I think the judge did the right thing.
What about that, Jerry? You know, the argument that, you know, they didn't think about anything else. Why do we have to follow the Eighth Amendment here?
But why do we have to follow the Constitution of the United States? What a preposterous question. The answer, of course, is that we do not want to participate in a process which gratuitously inflicts pain unconstitutionally in violation of the principles that we stand for. And so what's the rush? Why is it that we can't actually know whether the instruments that we're using to produce death actually produce excruciating pain? It is absolutely a correct thing to do, consistent with our Constitution and our morals, to require exposure.
All right, I'm going to come back to that.
Okay.
Jackie's jumping at the bit, but I got to go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Yeah, we want to let you guys know what some of our viewers are saying. Daphne says they gave up rights when they committed a crime horrific enough to get the death penalty. And then Roberta says, I just don't see the harm in revealing the name of the compounding pharmacy to the attorneys. She says, I don't know why it would have to be made public, but she can see where the attorneys would want to know that information.
You know, and looking at this, and Jerry very passionately argues the Constitution, and we deal with this every day, Jerry and I, in our practice, and so we get a little more passionate about that. But what about the attorneys knowing so they could do the scientific test to determine if these drugs are working properly?
Oh, come on. You guys don't want to know that for that reason. You guys want to know because you want to build a case to help your client. And of course, Jerry's going to be passionate because that's the side of the law that he practices, and that's how he makes his money. But the point is, we don't even have any proof that this is cruel and unusual punishment. That's what the lawyers are trying to say. That's what they're trying to prove. But there's no evidence of anything that's being done illegally. So why do we have to put the pharmacies or people who work in the pharmacy in danger unnecessarily?
Well, I don't see any danger. I'm going to disagree with that. And I want to correct one thing. Nobody that practices capital cases in Texas makes any money off of it. This is that's a volunteer job. You know, what about that, Jerry? I mean, there's got to be some way that the state could comply with the law. It is the law, and these drug companies shouldn't be put out in public where they're being harmed financially.
The answer, let the lawyers know so they can make sure that we're not buying drugs from charlatans who are compounding something that is really contaminated and is going to produce excruciating pain instead of simply producing death.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. We'll be back in a few minutes with another really good topic.
Yeah, we're going to talk about equal pay coming up in our next half hour, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.